So welcome to the Age Well yoga session on breathing. We'll just start with what muscle you're supposed to use when you're breathing. As some of you will know, you're using this muscle up underneath here, up underneath the ribs, the diaphragm. So when you take a breath in, that diaphragm pushes down and your tummy comes out here. You'll get a little bit of expansion at the back and at the sides and down into the pelvis as well. But in order to get this muscle working, we have to feel the tummy moving. So I'm going to get you to imagine that you've got a balloon down here in your tummy. So when you breathe in, you're filling that balloon full of air. And then when you breathe out, you're letting that air go. You're exhaling, deflating the balloon. But of course, that's not where the air is. So what's happening is when you take a breath in using this muscle, that muscle pushes down, the abdominal contents come out and down, and then as the breathing muscle comes down, that opens up the lung space. Okay? So, what do most of us tend to do? A lot of us don't always use this as well as we might. We tend to use the muscles up and around the neck, the shoulder, the ribs to breathe. So the typical example would be a breath not using your diaphragm. This would be a breath using your diaphragm. Okay, right, so we're going to have a practical session now. Shouldn't take too long, no more than maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. So you need to get yourselves onto your back. And we're going to be expanding that tummy. But first of all, knees bent up, arms down by your side. And we'll feel the weight of that body against the floor. So just take a few deeper breaths in and out. Feeling the weight of your feet, the pelvis, potentially the low back, shape of your ribs, weight of those shoulders and arms, and then finally the weight of the head. And now we're going to notice what type of breather you are. Put your right hand on your tummy, left hand on the chest, and you're just going to take a normal breath in and out. And notice if the chest hand is moving before the tummy hand or vice versa. And then see if you can get the tummy hand to inflate before that chest inflates. So it's almost like a wave moving up from the tummy, up through the chest to the neck and throat as you breathe in. Then as you breathe out, the neck softens, the throat softens, the chest softens, the tummy softens. So we're just going to get into a rhythm now of following that breath. So we'll breathe in for 5 or 6. And then breathe out for 5 or 6. And as you get into that coherent breathing pattern, just notice how your body responds to that. And just have your arms back down by your side. If you feel you can, we're going to come up into a bridge now. So we're just going to lift that bottom up a little bit, and we're going to feel those feet against the floor. Does it feel the same on the right side or the left side? Do they feel equal? And then we'll breathe out and we'll come back down. And we're going to do some targeted breathing now on the right hand side. So we're going to focus our breath onto the right hand side. Of course, you can't just breathe into the right lung, but that's where our focus is going to be, expanding and letting go on that right side. So if you just bring your right hand and feel that pelvis, hip bone, and then bring your hand into that soft pelvic area, we're going to start off by imagining a balloon in that front right pocket of the pelvis. So breathing into that space underneath your hand for 5 or 6, and then breathing out, letting that right hand pocket soften and relax down. In for 5 or 6, out for 5 or 6. Bring your right hand in line with your tummy button, but on the right hand side of the tummy button. So that's now where our balloon is. So we're going to fill that hand, that imaginary balloon, to the right of the tummy button. And then empty. In for 5 or 6, out for 5 or 6. We'll move that hand up now, so it's over the lower ribs on the right hand side. So that's where our balloon is going to expand now and deflate. Nice and slow and rhythmical. In for 5 or 6, out for 5 or 6. Bring that hand up now so that it's maybe just the fingertips are resting on the middle portion of those ribs, the middle portion of the lung. So that balloon in the middle portion of the ribs there is going to expand, inflate, then deflate, rise, then fall. Bring the hand up to the top of the chest, just underneath or around the collarbone area, and we're going to expand and deflate in that space. And then just bring your arm down by your side. And then just take a few normal deep breaths in and out. And just notice how different perhaps the right side feels compared with the left side now. As you're taking that in and out breath, so maybe a greater sense of connection with that breath on the right side. And then we're going to come up into the bridge and just feel how that right side feels connected compared with the left side, and then relaxing back down. So you can just stay and breathe that coherent breath for a little while longer, or you can move on to the next video, the next vlog, which is the mindful movements.